Hi everyone, I'm just making sure that I'm all go and I'm all live now. I had some problems when I streamed from here the last time with the picture quality. It was stuttering, so I just want to check that everything is live and okay and the picture quality is good. I also had some sound problems last night at the Assange rally outside the Home Office that I went to see, which many of you saw, no doubt. I'm just making sure, and it looks like that looks okay. All right. I think therefore we're streaming. We're not stuttering. The problem I had was we're not on the greatest Wi-Fi here, and I think I had too many things open and too many connections open. But I've slowed them down now, so hopefully everybody can see me in all my glory and lines and everything. Yeah, I was at the Assange rally last night for the concert. Loki was meant to be there, but he didn't get there. Apparently, he was caught in traffic. Was the official line while I was there. That wasn't a good look. MIA rocks. She's some rapper. That was really incredible. I've been listening to some more of her stuff today as well. She's fantastic. I want to thank people who sent me the super chats last night. Didn't have a chance to do it because obviously I was mobile at the time. Mayermiar in the Panhandle. Mayermiar in the Panhandle, thanks very much for your donation. Cowboy Bebop, thank you for your donation as well. Anthony Penza, thank you for your donation. And of course, Kathy Lloyd, the wonderful Kathy. Thank you very much for your donation. Now, we have breaking news. It's happened in the last hour or two that I want to get to. The title of this video gives it all away because Labour have blocked Chris Williamson from running as a Labour candidate in the general election. Now, I've reached out to Chris to see whether he's got any comment on this and whether he wants to send any message to his supporters, of which I know that many people who watch this channel are supporters of him. But I mean, does it signal the end of Chris Williamson in the Labour Party? I would suggest yes. Suggest that maybe that signaled the end of him in the Labour Party when he was suspended originally, and certainly, obviously, when Keith Vaz changed his mind and he remained suspended or was re-suspended. He has been blocked from standing at the next general election. Now, I've also asked for word from him. I'm hoping that he's going to run anyway as an independent. Labour have said that they will be selecting candidates for the Derby North seat, which Chris Williamson currently sits in, as well as the other two seats. I'm just looking at the other two people who they have basically said that they're not going to support. They're not going to let stand as Labour MPs are Stephen Hepburn and Roger Goodsif. Although, yeah, I don't know the details of those two. One's a sexual harassment case or something like that. But yeah, Chris Williamson is not going to be standing as an MP in the upcoming election on December the 12th. I'm not going to talk too much about what I think this is. I think you know what I think this is. I think this is indicative of the problems that the Labour Party has. And I think that anybody running around shouting, "You must vote Labour" right now, really needs to get their head out the sand. The problem is deeper than party politics. The problem is much deeper. The problem is MPs who are fighting for the people and telling the truth are not welcome in Westminster, are not welcome in the Labour Party, are not welcome in the Conservatives, we know that, but they're not welcome. They don't want to elect MPs who represent the people and represent the truth. There's no room for the truth in the Houses of Parliament, it seems. I'll be going into more in depth in this over the coming 6 weeks, because, like I say, we've got an election on December the 12th, and you know what? Hopefully, I'll be able to sit down with Chris Williamson and talk to him and have a conversation with him as independent media and ask him questions and really get him in his own words and not try and twist them like our media do. But yeah. Will that be the end of Chris Williamson in the Labour Party? I think the end of Chris Williamson in the Labour Party started long ago, and this is just the drawn out death of it. I will say this: his fight has certainly highlighted the problems that Jeremy Corbyn is having within the Labour Party. We know that there's a civil war going on inside there, and we know that he's got the support of his party members and not the PLP, and it's the PLP that are the problem, the MPs that are the problem. And then it's up to us as to whether we're going to vote them out or not. We certainly can't rely on the Labour members, because that's not to say that the Labour members are doing anything, they're doing all they can from what I can tell, but the mechanisms that are in place and the hurdles that they're in place for them to overcome, they're just too grand, they're too big to actually fix this Labour Party from within. If they're rejecting Jeremy Corbyn's closest allies, what does that tell you about where their priorities lie, and whether if you elect a Labour government, then they will solve all your problems? They won't. He's still going to only have the support of about 30 of his MPs, really, maybe 50. Even if he gets 250 seats, he's still not going to get that many more, because he's got too many Blairites running in the party. Anyway, I'll go into more detail of that over the next 6 weeks or so. The general election has obviously been called on December the 12th. Now, with your support, what I intend to be doing over the next 6 weeks, instead of sitting behind my desk and making videos and shouting and screaming at the TV and screaming at how shit our media is, because they're not our media, they're governmental PR, I'm going to do the job. That's right, I'm going to go up and down the country, and I am going to try and put my camera into MPs' faces and ask them questions that the elite PR companies won't ask them. Now, when I say elite PR companies, I obviously mean our mainstream media here. But they are not asking these MPs questions about Jeffrey Epstein. They're not asking them questions on that scandal. They're not asking them questions in the upcoming election if they will make any promises at all with regards to, investigating that scandal at least, because it does flow into the upper echelons of the UK's hierarchy and elite system, if you like, the oligarchy. Are we going to get any promises from these MPs that they're actually going to hold anybody involved to account, involved in this Jeffrey Epstein scandal, and get to the bottom of it, no matter how high the corruption and these evil bastards may go? I don't see the media asking them those questions. Obviously they don't, because the people who employ them don't want them asking them. I'll get to that in a minute, but I want to ask them questions about the OPCW second whistleblower coming forward. That's a video I haven't had a chance to do yet as well. I haven't had a chance to do that video yet. Yes, a second whistleblower has come forward from the OPCW that casts further doubt on an official story that's so full of holes right now. That Duma incident has so full of holes, it might as well be a cutout of Jeremy Corbyn on a UK military shooting range. But none of our so-called media are asking questions about that. We know why. But I do want to ask them questions. I want to ask the Tories, if they really are willing to defend media freedom so much like Jeremy Hunt and Amal Clooney are saying, then why is it that Nils Melzer, the United Nations rapporteur on torture, has said that that these countries involved are systematically persecuting and torturing this publisher for publishing the truth. And similarly, I want to ask their opposition leaders and opposition candidates, you know, if you are going to defend press freedom and freedom of the press and free speech, if that's what you are going to do and that's what you're promising us, then why is it we have seen you ask and say more words about a Guardian journalist getting into a bit of a scuffle outside of a pub than you have about possibly the most well-known journalist and greatest publisher the world has ever been known, and journalism itself being thrown in our version of our version of Gitmo? Why is it you've said more about the Guardian journalist getting roughed up than you have about... I want to ask them these questions. I want to go up to them with my camera, with my phone, and get in their face and ask them these questions and be calm. I'm going to have to do it by the look of it, because our media are not going to ask the questions, and I refuse to sit at home and just keep screaming into a camera, why am I not asking these questions? I'm going to have to go out and do it myself. And I urge you all to do it as well. I can't get to these MPs, and I've had such a great response from the early day motion that I asked you all to support. I've had like about 20 responses, 20 MPs I've got responses from. I've had so many I haven't had a chance to go through them all. I've had publications ask me about them. It's like, I haven't had a chance because it's just one person. But I will go through it. I'll get you responses in the next few days of what I would respond. And it's easy to take apart even the best responses that the MPs have sent. But I want to ask those questions. You know, why have they said more about them roughing a Guardian journalist get roughed up outside of a pub than a publisher with a 100% factual record being thrown in our version of Guantanamo Bay based on assertions that, you know, are baseless, let's face it, and manufactured. Now, we are going to need me to do this and people like me to do this, or we're going to need to support them as they do it. It's the only way, I think, that we're going to get any real change in this country. Voting Labour no matter what, you might as well be shouting, vote blue no matter who, you know? Those times are gone. If we, you know, if we continue to do the same things as we have done all these last decades of neoliberalism, if we continue to do the same thing and just vote party over whatever, we're going to continue to get the same shit we've always got. That's not difficult to grasp. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again. Electing a Labour government is not going to solve your problems. Electing MPs that serve you, that might. And I intend to stick a camera in front of these faces and in front of these faces, and also urge as many of you to do the same thing. And if you've got answers, send them me and send them other independent media and say, look at the answer that they've given to this question. Let's ask them the questions. Let's us do it. Let's get in the face of Jeremy Corbyn and say, why didn't you stand up for Chris Williamson? Why did you step aside and let them throw him under the bus? Let's ask them that question. The tough questions. The fair questions. And let's be honest about the answers that are given to us and whether they're trustworthy answers and whether they're answers that we should throw any weight behind or think that they are going to go through with anything they promise if they are going to give us just platitudes like they do in the United States. Because I'm hearing a lot right now of, you have to vote Labour because otherwise all you get the Tories. I'm hearing a lot of that. That brought you Donald Trump in America. That kind of thinking. I'm hoping in the next 6 weeks that kind of thinking will change. Right, that's it from me for this stream. I have got other things I want to talk about. but I think I've covered what I need to cover. He's a great man, I think. Chris Williamson is, and he's been treated extremely unfairly, not just by the Labour Party, but our corporate PR system that is, the BBC, Channel 4, Independent, etc. This is not an anti-Semitism row. If you notice that, I haven't said it. That's the first time I've said anti-Semitism today in this stream. I've been going, 15 minutes. It's the first time I've said anti-Semitism. And it's not like I'm not going to talk about anti-Semitism for the first 15 minutes and then make a point. You see what I mean? I'm just highlighting the fact this is not an anti-Semitism row. Any newspaper outlet even mentioning the anti-Semitism thing, even if it's like, this is not anti-Semitism, they're not doing their job. They're not informing you. Let's get to the chat. Let's have a look at a few of the comments, see if we can comment on them. Oh, that's a bit laggy. Ooh. Ask any MP the 5 questions that Tony Benn would put. Says it in brown. I don't know what those 5. Has Tony Benn got a list of 5 questions over here? I haven't heard that. Tony Benn and 5 essential questions. The 5 essential questions of democracy. I'll look into that, mate. Thanks for that. I can't do it at the moment because the nation is stopping me reading what I've just seen because I've got an ad blocker on, of course. But I'll look at that later. Thanks for that, mate. My only hope was with Britain's Labour and they've been sabotaged and torpedoed, says Hoodie Woman, Louisiana. There's a real vendor. There's a real. It's real. It's real. This cabal out to get Corbyn. It's real. They really are trying to hamstring him and kneecap him. They have been doing it for quite a while now. It's quite upsetting to see, really. Right, that's it for this stream. Hopefully I shall be back. I'll be back tomorrow. I've got some work on the website that I want to do, and I want to send an email out. If you want to donate to the journalism drive, there it is in the chat. That's if you want to fund me over the next 6 weeks, me going up and down the country, it's obviously going to stop cost money, train tickets, etc. But I'm willing to do it, everyone. I'm going to have to. What I've realised is the media are not going to change. We're going to have to be the media. We're not going to change them either. How could we trust them again after what they've done? We're going to have to be the media. And we're going to have to spread the word. Please do so. Thanks very much for all your support, everyone. And thanks to everybody who came out last night to the concert outside the Home Office. MIA was brilliant. I'm sorry about the sound quality from last night. It was a new phone that I've been using, and we were right by the speakers. I actually managed to get in the press pit, so to speak, thanks to Clara, and I was too close, I think, and there was too much distortion. Hopefully I'll be able to clip it up and change mess about with the sound so I can put that up, because she was fantastic. That set that she did was really good. All right, everybody. Thanks very much for all your help. The peace has gone from the end of the videos, guys. If I do it in future, it's going to be by accident and just out of habit, because, yeah, it's not time for peace anymore. It's time to do our jobs. And our job is to be the media. That's what I feel anyway. Thanks very much for all your support. Please make sure you're subscribed. I keep getting people saying, I hope subscribe, mate. I keep getting emails. It's infuriating, but at the moment, this is the only avenue I've got to put out, my content. I'm hoping in the next few months when the network Kim comes forward and say comes forward, Kim starts, he's launched rather, that changes things. I'm certainly going to be jumping on that platform. It's been masterminded by Kim.com, who was behind Mega Upload, who is a great Julian Assange and free speech supporter, and somebody who I actually would trust. So, and to do a good job with social media as well. So that's a platform you might want to check out. Thanks very much for your support, and until tomorrow, take care. And you know what? Instead of peace, I'd say keep fighting. How's that? Bit of a change up. Thanks very much for your support, everyone. Take care.